over 3,000 ArcelorMittal workers at its two plants in Newcastle and Vereeniging are facing a bleak festive season as the steel producer announced that it may be forced to restructure as a result of lower demand. ArcelorMittal grappling with a 20% fall in demand over the last 7 years caused by slow growth, strained infrastructure, environmental spend, including various projects that are delayed. Let's speak now to a local journalist in Newcastle. She is with the Newcastle Advertiser. Her name is Zianne Leibrandt. Zianne, thank you very much for your time. Let's begin the conversation with the announcement of these possible job cuts. How has it been received in the community of Newcastle?
Oh, well, the community is completely in shock after hearing the news. And from what we've been told from people who actually work for ArcelorMittal is that the retrenchments have actually already begun. Oh, my goodness. So people have already started being retrenched. Are you able to give us any figures? Well, from what we understand, it's about 2,280 people that will be affected in Newcastle alone. We're not too sure how many people have already received their letters, but apparently they have already signed the documents and will be receiving their packages soon. My goodness. So this actually is unfolding as we speak. Do we know whether these are long-time employees of ArcelorMittal or these are people perhaps who may have been employed recently? I think it's both. It's your permanent employees, it's your contractors, it's people who have worked for Mittal their entire lives. So it's... Wow. The economic quite a big impact that it's having here. Yeah. Just how big an employer would you say ArcelorMittal has been, specifically in the area where you are, Newcastle? And what kind of jobs do people have there in general? Well, it's all your skilled laborers, it's people that do welding, that work on the blast furnaces. It's a lot of skilled workers who can't really find employment otherwise, other than in settings such as ArcelorMittal and other places such as this. My understanding is that your newspaper has been talking to some of the affected families. What are they saying is possibly their plan after this? Because I imagine losing a job from a company that you've been with for such a long time, that is going to have a serious impact on what happens from here on for these families. Well, obviously, like I've said, they are quite scared and quite unsure of the future, but they have settled in Newcastle. They have built lives here. Their kids go to school here. So with all of this happening, the reality is that they're going to have to uproot their lives. They're going to have to move and seek employment in other places. So it's pulling their kids out of schools. It's giving up their homes. It's giving up their entire lives here. Did this come as a total shock to them, given that there wasn't certainty? Yes, we knew that the company was in trouble, but time and again, companies will tell you that things are possibly going to improve, whether through restructure or other means. Did this come as a total shock? According to them, it did come as a shock because from what we've heard, they've actually been busy with projects up until this week still, which was aimed at improving things. So when they received the news on Tuesday, after the briefing was sent, it did come as a very bitter blow to them. They were hopeful, that they believed that things were going to turn around. Yeah. Well, Zianne, we know the state of employment in the country. We know that this country has one of the highest unemployment stats that we have ever seen. Do these workers
blame anyone for this situation, or are they taking it as the general economic impact that is being experienced in South Africa?
I think it's vice versa. I think everyone is looking to blame someone or something for it. But I think people are just still in a lot of shock right now. So I don't think they are quite yet know where to place their anger.
Yeah. Let's conclude the conversation and find out, so what exactly is this situation? Have you been able to talk to the local managers at these steel plants in Newcastle as to what the future of the company is? Yes, they might be laying off people, but does this mean a total closure of ArcelorMittal?
We have not been able to reach our local ArcelorMittal management as yet. We are hoping to actually sit with them in the week and get a bit more information from them. But from what we heard from Kobus Verster, the CEO, we had a media briefing with him in the week. They feel that this is the best way forward until possibly something could change in the future. But our own local businessmen are this week sitting with national and local government to see if maybe they can find some sort of resolution. So people are still hopeful that somewhere they can get something right to save it.
Zianne Leibrandt, let me thank you very much for your time. Thanks indeed for putting us in the picture, Jess. She is a local journalist at the Newcastle Advertiser, and there goes the Black Christmas, if you like, for some 2,000 people, she tells us, who have already been given retrenchment letters. And that is the state of our economy in South Africa. These are people who may have been employed with this company, some for a long time, as she said, and some of them only recently. And so this picture has got to improve somehow.